watching Go on Shaw TV, the Salmon Festival edition. Well, hello there. You are watching Go Island, the Salmon Festival edition. I've got my lucky fishing shirt on. I've got some pink hoochies in the car because we are here talking to Mr. Salmon Festival, Dan Washington, about this year's big event. Dan, are you getting ready for it?
Getting ready for number 44, Nancy, you bet. Yep, plans are underway.
44, that made you like 5 years old when it started, right?
I wish, yeah. No, I've only been here, I've only been involved since 1983, so that's only 32 years in the festival. So.
32 years, that's
Yeah.
a pretty big commitment. No wonder you were Citizen of the Year, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, every year there is, of course, a huge entertainment component to this. What's happening this year on the stage?
We're, again, David's, he's working on local. We got Lance Lapointe coming in for a few sets, and he wants to try and keep it local so these young people can come out and showcase themselves, and what better place in a venue like this where you know, you can do what you want to do and nobody's going to be disappointed because it's all free entertainment.
And you know, we talk to so many musicians, and I think every local musician in Port Alberni has done a gig on the Salmon Festival stage. They love it.
Yeah, it's a good break-in point for them, and again, we're not a gated event, so it's not going to cost you anything to come in and see the entertainment, and it's good for the young kids to get out there and strut their stuff, and you can catch on and they're going to go, hey, they're pretty good.
Now, most folks out there have been to Salmon Festival at least 25 times, but there's some folks out there that haven't. What days and what times will there be entertainment on the stage? You don't have to tell us what it is, just when there will be entertainment.
Our entertainment will start Friday afternoon. Everything should be up and running on the grounds by about 4 o'clock on Friday. And the entertainment will go from 4 till 10, and then probably about noonish on Saturday till 10, and noonish on Sunday till 10, and of course, right up to closing ceremonies Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
It's a 4-day event. What are the dates this year?
September 4, 5, 6, and 7.
September 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to be back with Dan in just a minute to tell you a little bit more. We've hardly even talked about fish or what the big prizes are. But first, we're out here enjoying this endless summer. It's hard to imagine anybody not wanting to spend their summer, their vacation time in this neck of the woods. But marketing the Alberni Valley has had its challenges, and I met some of the folks who are involved in marketing that image and who are the face of Port Alberni. But first, we are talking about fishing for big fish. Well, all those fishermen had to start as little fishermen. And Jenny Fortin was out just a few days ago meeting up with some of those little fishermen who were learning their skills.
I caught a fish about this big.
Fishing is an activity that the whole family can enjoy together. And it seems that the Elliott family has caught the fishing bug.
We just moved from Alberta to BC, and in Alberta, that's where we kind of learned or started to fish. And my son caught his first fish, his rainbow trout, there.
And on this day, the Elliott family, along with a bunch of other families, came to learn all about fishing at Loon Lake.
We recently just put in about 1,300 rainbow trout, big enough so that when you catch it at Loon Lake, you can bring it home to eat it for dinner. So we're hoping that with our participants that come here tonight, they will appreciate Loon Lake as a really good fishing spot and sort of spread the word around the valley community. That Loon Lake is an excellent spot to maintain, to keep clean, to come fishing at, and also to keep people connected together as a community.
And thanks to the Freshwater Fishery Society, the kids were learning everything about fishing. From different types of fish to, of course, learning how to properly catch them.
With your reel and you swim, then you catch a fish.
As you can see, these little fishermen had their casting technique down packed. But the trout were being stubborn, and instead, an invasive species called pumpkin seed sunfish decided to take the bait.
I caught my own fishy. He's a big one.
I've seen kids that, when we first come to the program, they think fish are squishy, they're slimy, they may be afraid of putting on the worms, and by the end of the program, they're playing in the lake, they're fishing. Next time we see them, they've got their own fishing rod, and they're even putting the worms on their own hook. So it's really exciting to see.
I think it's safe to say that these kids have definitely caught the fishing bug. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
I'll hold it.
I know, I saw you.
Tourism. It's a huge part of Vancouver Island's economy for obvious reasons. The scenery, the access to nature, the weather. And there is, naturally, some competition between communities, each hoping to entice visitors to stay a little longer and spend a little more.
There is, but I think it's turning around. I think people are starting to stop and wonder about Port Alberni, and we're seeing it right here at the Visitor Center, and certainly that sign put up by EVT is helping us.
What's turning around is Port Alberni's image, and the AVT sign is a billboard erected by Alberni Valley Tourism that features a kiteboarder front and center, an image that seems to represent a shift in the way the community is marketed.
I hope so. You know, I think there has been a shift in a lot of the attitudes and climate of the city itself in a positive manner.
We are definitely, as a community, looking at the millennial demographic, and that's absolutely what that does. And there is lots of them coming into Port Alberni and discovering what we have.
And the tourism figures for this season confirm that more people are visiting this small city and apparently liking what they find.
It's an outdoor enthusiast playground. Port Alberni, you know, we're only an hour away from the west coast. If you know, the surfing, we're in, you know, go to our south there, and you've got amazing Carmana Valley, all within a stone's throw, basically. And then on top of that, we have the car enthusiasts. We have a number of other. We've got culture with Shars Landing and the music, and then the theater right across the way. So you know, it's just a matter, I think, of making people aware that that's what we have to offer and grow that.
But it's the growing it that can be problematic. With so many groups promoting and doing so many different activities in the valley, it's easy for the message to become muddied and the image unclear.
Absolutely. Like, it's good to have banter, and it's good to, you know, beat your war drum a little bit, you know, to get people's attention maybe. But at the end of the day, you've all got to work together. You know, this is just a beginning, and it's, to me, a good indicator of the directions they're wanting to move.
I think we're on the way. You know, we see it here. We get all kinds of people coming in, and they're just looking around, and they're kind of interested. And before, and today, lots of people still pass through, but I think they regret it when they realize what they've missed. They should have stayed and played right here.
For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. Well, hello again. You are still watching Go. We are still here talking about the Alberni Valley Salmon Festival 44th?
44th annual, Nancy.
44th annual Salmon Festival. Unbelievable. I was a mere babe in arms, I tell you that. I'm here with, of course, Mr. Salmon Festival, Dan Washington. And we're going to talk a little bit about the prizes. What are the big prizes for these big fish this year?
Well, the top fish, the top salmon this week, or the weekend, Labor Day weekend, they'll go home with $15,000. And of course, there's every day it's a new derby, so there's a $5,000 daily first prize every day of the derby. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, $5,000, and then a $10,000 bonus on top of that for the biggest one of the weekend.
Unbelievable. So $15,000 potential winner. How do people get involved? Where do they get their tickets?
Tickets will be available they'll be on the grounds, and of course gone fishing, and probably just basically anybody that will sell fishing tackle in Port Alberni. And we got a few spots in Parksville Boathouse and stuff like that. So no, there'll be enough, and they'll be around lots. So shouldn't be a problem.
How much are tickets this year?
They're $40 a ticket.
And one rod per ticket?
One ticket per rod, yeah. So basically you buy your ticket, go fishing. If you catch your fish and you weigh it in and you win a prize, the smallest prize is $100. So I mean, it's worth reinvesting in another ticket then, in case you win a second prize, which is, you know, comes up to the second or third prize fish of the day, and then there's, you know, $1,000, $2,000 there for that one too. So a lot of cash out there.
A lot of cash out there, and this all comes back to support the Salmon Festival and what you guys do, because you turn that money around into the community.
Yeah, well, we turn it around, but of course it's a major fundraiser for people like the Kiwanis and the Rotary and the Lions with their Bullhead Derby. Without this event, then the Kiwanis can't turn around, say, Christmas time and help Salvation Army or help with the Bread of Life, or, you know, it's their major fundraisers. They come out and they work like crazy that on the weekend to be able to have that money so that they can get back to the community later on in the year.
Work like crazy. I know everybody involved with the Salmon Festival works like crazy. It's like a little mini city that gets set up here every year.
Oh yeah, we start a week ahead of time and we put our little city together, and then in 2 days after the event's over, we're back in the box until next year.
And do you take a day off work on the Tuesday?
No.
You just hit the ground
No.
running.
Actually, it's easier to go back to work than to come down here and keep working. So, yeah, the vacation is going back to work after Labor Day weekend.
I believe it, Dan Washington. We're going to be chatting to you again in just another minute, because there is more to tell you about this year's 44th Annual Salmon Festival happening right here at Clou de Siem Marina. But first, you know, I am always impressed at the people we meet here in Port Alberni. There are artists and writers, creative people, athletes. And Jenny Fortin met a couple of world-class athletes who make their home in the Alberni Valley. You're going to be amazed when you meet these ladies. But first, we're going to stroll down Art Avenue with Melissa Martin.
Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Art Avenue. I'm coming to you from the Roland Art Center Art Gallery with our current exhibit by artist Judy Petter. Now, Judy is from Comox, but certainly you need to come by the Roland Art Center and check out her beautiful pieces of artwork. They are watercolor portraits of flowers and some landscape, as she also does dye fabric. So it is a lovely show to see, so don't miss out on this one. This one is on until September 19th at the Roland Art Center. Something exciting is happening at the Aquatic Center here in Port Alberni, and it's happening Wednesday, September 9th. And it's the official unveiling of the pool mural project. And this has been a year-long project in the works, and there's about 10 artists taking part in this. So stop by Echo Center on Wednesday, September 9th at 6:30. We're having a free everyone swim, and it'll be the official unveiling of the beautiful pieces that are going to be hung at the pool. The next exhibit happening at the Roland Art Center will begin September 22nd, and that's with the Alberni Valley Photo Club, and that will be a group exhibit happening here in the gallery. And then a beginner's watercolor class will be held at Echo Center, and that's with local artist Cynthia Beneski. That's an 8-week course, and that begins October 13th. So registration is limited, so call Echo Center today and register. And here's what's happening at Shars Landing and Public House. Thursday, August 27th is Words on Fire with special guest Stephen Novet. Saturday, August 29th is Don Alder, and he's a Western Canadian singer. Sunday, August 30th is Sean Hogan, and he is roots, country, and folk rock. Tuesday, September 1st is Supernatural Buffalo Band Summer Tour, and that's a psychedelic free folk. Not quite sure what that is, but you'll have to stop in at Shars Landing and take a look at that. Sunday, September 6th is Simon Kempton, and he's an award-winning Scottish songwriter and leading fingerstyle guitarist. And Saturday, September 12th is a concert by Tanner James. So pick up your tickets in advance at Shars Landing today. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but before I go, a few reminders. Timber Choir is looking for new members to begin their new season. If you're interested in joining Timber Choir, you can contact Pat Venn or Patricia Miller. Their numbers will be on the screen. And also a reminder that the Roland Art Center will be closed for its annual summer closure, and that begins August 25th, and they will reopen September 8th. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin.
Hi, my name is Harold Lefty Williams. I'm the youth pastor right here at Jericho Road Church. I would like to invite you here next Friday, August the 28th, to our second annual Back to School Bash. It's going to be free food, free school supplies, free face painting, play around in the bouncy castle. I would love to see you there from 4 to 6 p.m.
The single-person outrigger canoe happens to be an easy boat to tip over. The trick is to lean to the left as you get in.
Lean a little left, don't forget all.
It's a big day for both Marilyn and Maggie. as Maggie manages to take her maiden voyage in her new boat without any unexpected dips in the water.
It's 10 years old, and I bought it from Victoria so that Marilyn and I can do our OC1 training in our backyard, as it were.
As Maggie dips her paddle into the water, all her reservations of paddling the narrow boat subside. And that's because Maggie and Marilyn are no strangers to paddling.
I was paddling about 6 weeks, and then it was the Nanaimo Dragon Boat Festival, and I did my first race there, and that was it. I was totally hooked.
I was hooked in 1996. I was able to go to the Worlds in Hawaii, so we were lucky enough to compete and to win a gold. I was 40, so 20 years later, 2016, I want to be back on the podium at 60.
That's right. You could say Marilyn and Maggie have some major goals this year. They're both members of the Vancouver Island dragon boating team, the Gorging Dragons, who qualified this year for the Nationals in Australia.
The Gorging Dragons, they have a year-long training program that's written by Tom Arnold, the founder of VI Paddling. And they have, in the summertime, they have 3 dragon boat practices on the water, and then they also go out in small boats. And then, of course, gym work and running and all the extra stuff. So they follow that year-long training program, gearing up for the qualifiers and then, of course, Worlds in March.
Every day there is some component of it, whether it be dry land training or actual paddling in the dragon boat, paddling in an outrigger canoe.
Moving forward into the next 9 months, of course, with the days getting shorter, we train less on the actual dragon boat teams, but that brings us into a whole new phase of strength training and keeping up the cardio, and that puts us into the gym and into a totally different program than actually paddling, although we still will maintain our dragon boat paddling once a week throughout the week.
It's nutrition, it's learning about the mental challenges and how to focus. So it's everything all the time.
But as intense as the training sounds, these two feel lucky to have each other as training partners.
Maggie's been the determining factor to get us into new boats. She's got us into our seniors mid-island masters boat for the seniors races, and we made a discussion and joined each other in a commitment to do the Gorging Dragons. So Maggie has a lot to do with it. She's a good friend.
I think it's really great to have somebody to train with, and you know, you make an appointment to go out, and if it's pouring with rain, you got to keep it because you're letting the other person down. So it's really nice to have Marilyn on the same team.
Rest assured that these two will be ready for the races in Australia come springtime. For Go, on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Wow, that is so inspirational. It kind of makes me want to work out a little bit more. Well, I'm going to think about that when we take a bit of a break, so please stay with us. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go Island. We are here in the sunshine and this lovely breeze at Clutha Marina, home of the 44th annual Salmon Festival coming up this Labor Day weekend. And Dan Washington, you were just telling me about this really cool draw that happens a whole month after the event.
Yeah, Nancy, we're very fortunate to have Burke's Intertruck come on board, and they're going to supply us with a check for $1,000. So after the Derby, after everything's cleaned up, after everything's all put to bed, we'll give ourselves a month to make sure we get each and every Derby ticket stub in a barrel. We'll roll the barrel and we'll draw a name out, and regardless what happened in the festival, that lucky ticket will win $1,000 cash, compliments of Burke's Intertruck.
A whole month after.
Well, we just want to make sure we get everything put together in there, and it sort of just gives us awareness that, you know, Salmon Festival's still alive and well even a month later. Our So no, we just want to make sure we get everything in place and have all the tickets in the barrel so that we don't cheat anybody out of that $1,000 because, I mean, it's a good lottery, you know. If they sell 1,200 Derby tickets, you get a 1 in 1,200 chance at $1,000. That's pretty good odds.
Pretty good odds. You could be saying winner, winner, salmon dinner a month after the Salmon Festival's over. Holy cow.
Yeah, no, it's a great incentive, and I mean, the last time we did it, we've had people even buying tickets just treating it as a lottery. So no, it was a very good thing, and we're quite pleased that Berks has stepped up this year to continue that tradition and hopefully make it a tradition.
Well, you've got so many great sponsors and so many great groups involved. You mentioned earlier the Kiwanis Salmon Dinner. How many salmon do they buy? How many do they have on hand for this?
They're going to order, well, they've got an order in for about 4,000 pounds of fish, so that should take them to about 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, which is just about perfect for them. So, and Bavarian Gardens, all the beverages are on order for that, and they're everything's in track. It's nice. Some of that stuff just automatically falls in place with the volunteers we've had for years and years and years. So, and we couldn't do it without them. I tell you, the volunteers are what makes this thing all happen.
Well, let me tell you, Dan Washington, you're one of them, so thank you so much for what you do. It's always a pleasure to come out. It is so much about the charities, about raising money that goes into Port Alberni and kind of just improves our lifestyle here in the Alberni Valley, enhances what we do. Now, I was lucky enough to stop out at a business in Port Alberni that actually goes above, well, I should say a step above and beyond in supporting the community. They're in lockdown. Doggy jail. But these two pups staying at Port Alberni's SPCA aren't unloved. Not by a long shot. Not as long as Irene's in charge. Because for this woman, who's been at the BC SPCA for 30 years, rescuing animals is more of a mission than a job.
I think there's a purpose to helping animals in our community, and also helping the guardians of those animals take better care of them too. Yeah, it can be sometimes an emotionally draining job.
The emotional cost is very real for this animal lover, but just as real is the dollar and cents price tag on the services offered by the SPCA.
Everything, as in all aspects of life, comes down to being able to pay for things, you know, and especially in the animal field, you know, those expenses are sometimes very expensive.
Found something else?
I did.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which is why, believe it or not, Irene is shopping today at the Step Above, a luxury home decor shop above quality foods that has become a huge partner in fundraising.
This particular arrangement with the SPCA started in about 2006 in Parksville. And then it's not long after that, when they saw the success of that, Port Alberni decided that they wanted to get involved as well.
Are they on at 269?
Yep, they sure are. What happens is the customers donate their quality foods points right at the till to the SPCA. And so we save those points all year. And then every April, we convert the points to coupons for this beautiful store. And then we come and we purchase goods that we auction at our silent auction. These are nice, eh?
Now, at first glance, these donations may seem small, but in fact, Irene estimates that every April she cashes in somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 worth of donated Q points.
So you're at 807. It is amazing, and I find we have about 800 customers per month that do choose the SPCA, so it's well supported.
And given that 2/3 of the Port Alberni SPCA's annual budget comes from fundraising, it's hard to underestimate the value of this support.
Our silent auction is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, and so you know it's very important that we have the goods to auction.
But there is one more component to this partnership. The Port Alberni Step Above has been converted to a discount store, which means those donated points go even further.
Which just works out to their favor tremendously. It's going to allow her to stretch her dollars or Q points even farther. So,
all of which brings us back to those two dogs in lockdown at the SPCA and the level of care they've received.
All the money that's raised here in Port Alberni is spent in the community so we have all of our programs, our spay and neuter assistance programs, our vaccine programs, and then every year about approximately 1,500 animals get direct care. They're the ones that actually come through the shelter.
I feel tremendous about the fact that we've made a difference in the communities that we serve.
There are so many customers now that give points to the SPC that most of the tellers actually know our number off by heart.
For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
Oh, good girl. You're such a good girl.
Hi, my name is Morgan Buxton, and I'm here to discuss An Abundance of Catherines by my favorite author, John Green. This book follows child prodigy Colin Singleton as he attempts to navigate the first real heartbreak in his life from his girlfriend, Catherine. As he moves throughout high school, he knows that he has something big to do with his life, but when he graduates and breaks up with Catherine, he's not sure where he's going. So him and his best friend Hassan take a road trip, which lands them in Gutshot, Tennessee, population 864. It's there that he begins to find himself and find what his true purpose in life is. I chose this book because John Green has a great way of creating new storylines for people and his characters, and a great way to implement the creativity in his books. This readability can start for teens as young as 14 and go up to young adults as old as myself when I am 20. At the bottom of his pages, he has footnotes, which explains Colin's thinking. He speaks almost always in anagrams, as well as he is very analytical and has a very math-centered brain. So as you're reading, and if you don't understand anything he's saying, you can look at the footnotes at the bottom of the page. Otherwise, you can read straight through and look at them when you're done.
Well, that does bring us to the end of another Go on Shaw TV. But you know, I'm down at the cleaning station because Dan may know everything about Salmon Festival, but these folks know a little bit more about fishing. You were just telling you caught a couple of springs today.
3 springs.
3 springs. What were you using?
Everything for sockeye. Sockeye depths, sockeye lures, sockeye speed. I've got 3 springs.
I've got a pink hoochie. Is that going to do any good for me?
Sure, go for it.
A pink hoochie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I've got my lucky shirt. I'll take that pink hoochie out. And you know, one thing we didn't mention with Dan Washington is Salmon Festival, of course, abides by all DFO regulations. And until Salmon Festival starts, they're not sure what those regulations are. So we haven't been talking about them today. But you'll know when Salmon Festival starts and when you pick up your ticket. Until we meet again, be good to each other and keep your lines tight.